has taken some time out of his day to come right in with us and talk a little bit about his gifts. So this episode, we're focusing on gifting, especially when it comes to graduation, because graduation season is right around the corner. So I have come up with my top 10 list of really great gifts I think graduates would love, and I'm going to go through it with Pete. So I'm going to invite him in 1 second. We're going to do this little thing. Oh, here it is. Let me just go to that. Okay. So just introduce yourself while I figure out some tech issues.
Yep. Pete Lorenzo in Morristown, New Jersey. I'm with Keller Williams Metropolitan, one of the largest real estate brokerages in the country, and I am partners with Gordon for the Crawford and Lorenzo home selling team.
Great. Now, he is a super cool guy, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about how you feel when it comes to gifts. I know we had a great conversation on the phone.
Yep.
Yeah, what you got as a gift when it was Penn State. So again, guys, for this episode, it's just for anyone who has a loved one that's graduating this spring. It can be high school, college, or grad school. And we're just going to help you decide what to get yourself for graduation too. If you want to treat yourself, you worked pretty hard. So these guests are going to talk about some of the gifts they've received and give you some ideas. So our first question for Peter, what kind of gifts do you like to give?
What do I like to give?
Mm-hmm.
I like to give gifts, and they're great questions that I think are meaningful. As I got older, not to age myself, but being 48, I give, I love to give gifts when people don't expect them. And then where I used to go purchase things, I am a big fan of also making things too, or like talking to Lara, who I know has a gift shop and everything. We're putting things together that nobody can find somewhere. It's unique. For this past, holiday season, I painted my wife a picture. Now, I'm not a good painter, but there are things that are meaningful too. So I think things that don't exist that you can put together, whether it be some gifts and you put together as one, or either make something, or those are things I like to give. I also like to give them when they're not expected to. Those are probably the best gifts to give.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I would love to see a picture of what you painted sometime, because that sounds great. And then even when we, hop onto the other end, gifting is great. And then what would you like to receive if someone gifted you something?
That was a hard question, Elyse, because you're like, I'm like, what do I like to receive? Again, going from, and I know for graduates, so maybe I got more wisdom as I got older, so maybe they can enjoy this too. I like to receive experiences now rather than things.
Love that.
Through my life, I've gotten, I like things. I like my things personally, within my house or what I own. But now experiences with people, and especially friends, like graduation is a really special time of your life. And rather than getting something, because and you all are a lot younger than I am, but now experiences are probably the best, and you get to keep those experiences up here. That's the best. Those are the best gifts that I love to, whether it's dinner with friends, a surprise with friends, or family. Friends and family have become, as I've gotten older, the most important gifts I get. So doing something with those groups of people are key.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I'm the same way. One of my first birthday gifts was actually a skydiving trip. So super into experiences over here. I think it's great. And, you can't really, well, one, you can't gift them, which is funny. That's a whole nother topic. That was one of my questions I was going to throw in there, curveball, is have you ever regifted anything? And if so, what was it?
I'm not telling. No, I don't. That's have I regifted something? I'm sure I have. I just don't remember when or what it was, and I don't know if I'd say it if I did on this podcast.
I understand. We'll keep that.
Well, you know what? I did regift something, and it's a good story. It just hit me. So, real quick, I always wanted in my life a German Shorthair Pointer, a particular type of dog for the sports I do. Anyway, The gentleman who came didn't want to give him up, but he came to our house, and to see that Hunter had a really good house to live in. Well, years back, I had gotten a pocket watch from somebody. And for me to take on Hunter at 1.5 years old was so special for him. It just hit me in that moment. I was like, you know what? This guy, he just graduated college.
Oh
And it
wow.
was a gold pocket watch. And I said it was going to mean more to him on the day that he left his best friend, Hunter, now my wonderful best friend. And I gave him the pocket watch. And,
Oh wow.
here's a guy of like 30 years younger than me. And we both, played sports in school and stuff, but he had tears in his eyes. And it was a real meaningful re-gift. So I don't mind sharing that.
Okay, well, I love that one. That was great. You just pulled that right out. And then, so what is the best gift that you've ever received?
I thought about this too, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Probably something that had nothing to do with material, and it's really special to me. So that's why I wanted to come on with Elyse. And it has to do with direction and opportunity. So Elyse asked, what do I do, and am I a good fit for this? And, I graduated Penn State, was an entrepreneur, always wanted to be that. And there are certain things in life that happen. And somebody gave me a direction to become a real estate agent and believed in me over and over and over. And there are lots of ways to get into real estate. It doesn't have to be an agent or run a team or anything else. But the best gift I ever got was direction, and probably mentor and coaching through somebody. So if anybody can ever give somebody the gift of that, a gentleman by the name of Gordon Crawford, who a lot of you don't know, but he's been doing real estate for 50 years, and I was lucky enough to work with him. And just as a kind of shout out to everybody out there, I always think real estate is a good second-hand opportunity that you can take advantage of. Have it as a second job if the economy takes one way or another. There's always a buyer's and seller's market. I think it's the smartest thing is all you graduates can do.
Yeah.
And look into the opportunities. I started as a referral agent, but I don't want to take up too much time. I know Elyse is letting me go early, but as a gift, give yourself the gift of looking into that. And if you can give somebody else the gift of direction or mentorship, anything that you do well as a craft or as you get older through graduation, pass that along to somebody else and believe in them. That's the biggest gift you can give.
Absolutely agree. I really love that one. And it's something that you can carry with you. Obviously, it's just dialogue. So you get to remember it and implement it into your life and see some real change. So I really like that one. It's a great point. And then, so we did talk on the phone a little bit about graduation gifts, kind of picking your brain as to what
Yep.
you got when you were younger. So do you want to share with the audience what you received as a graduation gift? You said you went to Penn State, I believe, right?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah.
So that gold pocket watch was my gift that I don't want to say regifted, but I passed it on. So that was my graduation gift back then.
Okay, I love that. Yeah. And what kind of so you're saying moving forward, you would, although the pocket watch brought you a lot of joy, right? You'd prefer something more experiential, and am I hearing you right? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time now with the knowledge that you have on what you like and what's worked in your life post grad,
Yep.
what would you gift a younger Peter?
I would give myself the opportunity to be with friends or family and either go somewhere for whether it be a couple of days. I know COVID's a big, issue right now, or if it's close by, but those are times that you're never going to get back. And I know, look, graduating Penn State was my family, the first people I wanted to be with when I had the world, at my hands at that point in time or could go anywhere. I don't know, but looking back on it now, time with friends and family, true friends and your family who love you, that's what I would give myself.
Yeah, I love that. And would you give yourself that same advice then? Like, what would you say if you could sit in front of, past you and give yourself some advice to either live your life?
I would say, as much as you don't want to be with your mother, father, and brother right now, get a couple of friends. And at that point in time, we were all hanging out, at football games together, anybody, and go away with them, and go somewhere and spend, time. And I could see it now, my, roommates, Mike and Schoon and Mike and my parents and my brother, and maybe just go somewhere and spend quality time, get away, and have memories forever.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so, so much, Peter. I know you have to
You're
rush.
welcome. I
For
will.
kept
Nice
you.
to meet. Nice to talk to everybody. Good luck and congratulations, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Okay, we are back, guys. So that was Peter. He is amazing. You know, he kind of summed up exactly how I feel about gifts and what I would like to receive. I'm definitely someone who likes more of experiences and memories, which is, I mean, perfect. Everything he said is kind of, you know, what a time capsule really brings is the preservation of our memories no matter what happens as we age and our relatives get older and, you know, they're not around anymore. We'll be able to remember all of our memories and all of the times that we shared. And that's why I'm so proud to work at Not Forgotten and what we're accomplishing here. You know, shielding us all from data rot, which is a whole nother topic we'll get into. But back on the gifts, we also have another really great guest. Her name is Lara, and she's been so kind, and she is going to talk a little bit about her shop. It's called Vintage Garden, and it's all the way in Fairfield, Connecticut. So, cool guest that we are bringing in, and I'm going to bring her in right now. Hey.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
So I wanted you to have the opportunity to introduce yourself and just paint the picture for how you want the audience to view you. I have a great first impression, but you can go ahead and talk to them as well.
Okay, so my name is Lara, and I'm the assistant manager at Vintage Garden. It's a small gift shop in downtown Fairfield, Connecticut. And I was so excited to be able to have the opportunity to share what we do and the fun gifts that we have for all ages here at the store.
Awesome. So, of course, I want to hear about everything you have to say today. And a lot of the questions are similar to Peter's, but everyone has a different answer. So, for you, what kind of gift do you like to receive?
I would have to say it's the same as Peter. I think as you age, I think when you're younger, you're looking for those material things, and as you age, you're looking for the experiences, or maybe it is those items that remind you of the times that you've been together. I know my daughter put together a photo album of a trip that we all took together and put in like poetry that was meaningful to her that spoke to the pictures and the trip that we had. So those things, I think those are things too that I look for.
No, I absolutely love that. I'm the same way. I always like make my own gifts for my mom, and I hope she doesn't think I'm just trying to be cheap, but I really do think that, you know, they're the best kinds of gifts to receive because no one can replicate them, and it's really,
No, yeah.
yeah. And parents love that too. They love when their kids make them stuff. So
Oh
I,
yeah, from the time you're a toddler drawing on a piece of paper to the more detailed creations, of course, we love all that from our children.
yeah. And how old's your daughter?
She's now 27.
Okay, wow. Did she
Yeah,
graduate college, I'm assuming?
she did. Yeah, she's married. She's a teacher and has a little one herself.
Wow. Do you remember what you gave her when she graduated?
I actually, when you were talking about gifts before, I had been given a signet ring that I, for some reason, never got my initials engraved on. I don't know why. I had it and I wore it, but I just never went back to get the engraving. So for her, I thought this was a meaningful thing that it had been mine, and I then got her initials engraved on it and gave it to her.
Oh wow. So you also have your own like regifting story.
Yeah, a little bit for sure.
So
Yeah. And
that
again, it's those meaningful things, something that you treasured, but you thought it's okay to give it to somebody else and let them have meaning too.
and let it have like another life, right? And continue to live
Yeah.
through her. That's really beautiful. I love that. What kind of
Yeah.
ring did you say it was?
It's a signet ring.
Signet ring. I wish I could see what it looked like. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So it's like gold and it's like they're like flat on the top. You might like a lot of people wear them
Oh,
on their pinky or their
oh,
second, and it's flat on the top. You get your initials put in. Sometimes you have an inscription on the inside.
yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that you and Peter both had material items and they're both like gold that you could just pass down because they're so high
Yeah.
value. Right? That's awesome. So
Yeah.
on that then, so what kind of gifts do you like to, you know, give to people when you are thinking about, you know, special events, you're going to someone's house, maybe it's an acquaintance that you haven't, you know, talked to in a while. What kind of gift would you give them?
I think I look for something like if I know them well enough, like a good friend, I
Yeah.
want to do something that's either for them, that's like in that they can use themselves, not necessarily like a decor piece, but something they can use. So it could be like spa items that they can use at home, or like candles or something fun like that. So I think just something that people maybe, I think everybody loves to receive a gift. So it could be as simple as, you know, a candle and cute matchbox, you know, like, you know, matches in a little box or something, and people are thrilled. So I think finding out what that person's interests are is always a neat thing too, to kind of correlate it with the things that they like.
Yeah. It was awesome when you said spa, because on my like list of top 10 gifts for graduates, one of them is a spa day. I think that,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
after you've graduated, a spa day, massage can go really well. So that's a great
yeah,
idea. I love that as well. And it kind of
yeah,
just goes along with the theme of gifting experiences, instead of, you know, something that will just sit in your room and collect dust, and
yes,
that you'll just probably get rid of in a few years. So that sounds great. And
yeah.
then for you, think back on, you know, all the gifts that you've ever been given. I'm sure it's been a lot, so it could be overwhelming. But what is the best gift that you've ever received that really stuck with you? Obviously, you mentioned the scrapbook, but is there anything else that really stuck with you to this day that you remember?
I think my grandmother's earrings. And again, going back to these
Yeah,
precious things, is I don't think anybody looks for that to say, I want all those things. But when it's handed down to you at a certain time, you know, she had passed away and it was given to my mother and she gave them to me, thinking, you know, she didn't want them at the time or need them, and she passed them on to me. And so it's just one of those treasures that you then want to use yourself to remember your loved one, and then at some point I'll pass it on to my daughter.
yeah, I love that. We have like a common theme of legacy going on here, which
Yeah.
is so. I like this. I like the direction we're going in. And then so let's pivot a little bit into your business, and you can just describe a little bit to the audience, you know, who are not familiar with it. Again, it's in Fairfield, Connecticut, if you ever want to stop by. But Lara, just explain exactly what you guys do and what you guys offer to people. Obviously, I'll ask more specific questions after, but just a general
Okay.
overview.
So general overview, we are your tried and true downtown, you know, little gift shop that people walk in the door and we have a happy hello and welcome. What can we help you with? It's very personalized. We offer free gift wrapping. We love doing all the fun gift wrapping, as well as gift baskets. So people can come in and put a bunch of different things together, or we can help them get those things together. We assist with that as well. So you're really, it's kind of going back in time experience, if you will. You know, you're not just walking into a mall store where people are just standing at the register and they don't know your name. They don't want to know you. They don't really care what you're doing. They're just, you know, whatever. We really get to know our customers. It's a very personal experience, and it's fun. It's a happy place. And we basically have, you know, from infant through housewares and gifting items and hostess gifts and local things, like as you're focusing on our sign back here. Those are all our beaches here in Fairfield. So we have a lot of personalized signage for local, especially Fairfield, but some of the other local towns that are nearby.
Yeah, okay, great. And let's role play for a second. So I'm brand new to Fairfield and I walk in, had a glowing rec from Diane, and I want to walk in there and purchase a gift. My best friend's graduating from UConn and I want to get her something. What would you recommend for me to get her?
So basically, we talk about like, what is the relationship, you know, so we find out, you know, what you're shopping for. It's for a friend, it's for graduation. And so we have a lot of, what do you call it, inspirational gifts. So we have plaques that might say something, signage that says something inspiring, trinket dishes. We also have a little jewelry section. We have Connecticut items as well, that might be pillows, or it might be signs or sweatshirts, hats. So it really becomes kind of sharing with you that little things along the way around the store that might be good ideas. And then you're saying to me, well, you know, I'm kind of feeling like I want to get something a little bit more personalized, memento kind of thing, maybe in the inspirational area. So we walk through that. So we really kind of walk around with people and And then some people kind of want to be on their own, but we would guide you on what we might piece together, what your budget is, and what things you might want to kind of gather together for that gift.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you make it like a very unique and personalized experience for each customer, is what it sounds like, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's something that we're really missing these days, with small businesses, that human connection and that ability to bounce ideas off each other and get that second opinion. When we're scrolling, on big sites online, you really miss that human connection. So I think that's really
Right. It really, like today, for instance, a woman came in and said, I'm looking for a picnic basket, an old-fashioned picnic basket that has all the accoutrements inside with the plates and the silverware. We said, we just don't carry that right now. But we came up with a whole nother item and she was thrilled. We did, some of our scout bags, which is one of our big products, and we put a lot of other things inside that made it a more modern picnic basket for the modern young newly married couple to take to the Cape that they go to every year. And so it really, in the end, she couldn't be more happy, but it was that conversation that you won't maybe get at a bigger department store, because we took the time to speak with her and kind of think of ideas creatively with her.
Yeah, so you identified her needs in like a way in which if she had gone to a larger store and realized it didn't have what she wanted, she probably just would have left, right?
Right, exactly. And she would have had to go to the next store, exactly.
Which honestly is way easier on the customer to have like an associate who actually cares. So that's
Yeah,
awesome. We really
yeah.
appreciate you. And for your store specifically, what is the most popular gift if I were to go there and check everything out? I know there's a lot of baby things. I'm not a mom yet, so
So there is our baby section, but it's the housewares and gifty items. So there's always that we have many different lines of candles, from soy candles to citronella candles to decorative candles, things that say something on them, or they're just, different scents, different lines. So those are very popular. And then we have different fun match boxes of different varieties that people can pair with those. Right behind me, as you were focusing on before, the signage, this is one that has all our beaches, and they come in different colors, different sizes. Then we also have ones that say the town Fairfield or Fairfield, Connecticut, or Connecticut alone, or Westport, and the surrounding towns. So the personalized items are really big in our store. So we've like Peter was saying, the influx of people into towns this past year, moving out of the big cities and coming out to the suburbs, we've had a huge amount of people wanting to personalize their homes now with the local flair of the coastal items. That's what we also have, is a lot of beachy items. And that's where we also, if for the adults, we get into the tunics and the cover-ups and the hats and all that fun stuff, and beach bags and coolers and things like that.
Wow, you have a lot to offer. Also, I was laughing because that sign, a lot better than the sign I made in quarantine. Make waves.
I love it. That is so funny that you have it there. That's great.
I should put it right here. No, it's
Yes.
funny. Honestly, painted a lot during quarantine, but I love all the
Yep.
crafts. I was a journalism major, so I love wording and all of that. And my mom has a million signs, just like the one right behind you.
Yeah.
So super
Yeah.
funny, super familiar, and I think it gives you like that homey vibe that a lot of people are searching for these days.
Yep.
I think it is really interesting that we're all kind of moving out of the cities and going back into the suburbs, and hopefully going into shops like yours and supporting you guys to the best that we can, in a post-COVID world.
Yes.
And then I don't know how much time you have, but I would love to kind of run over the top 10 gifts I've selected for grads and see your initial opinion and your live react.
Okay.
Okay, so I kind of split it up into a few different sections. I have tech, leisure, and then like material goods. We've talked a lot about how material, like a lot of the things that we talked about are on my list, so that makes me feel good. Makes me feel like I researched it and it's relevant. But the first one I actually have is a piece of technology that I think is really useful. It is the Apple Watch. I have it right here to show you guys.
Yeah.
But this Apple Watch, super useful, especially when you are, right out of college. I'm someone who, you're working from home, right? You lose your phone all the time. There's like a feature there. You could like press a button and your phone can beep and you'll know exactly where it is. So there's some cool features there, coupled with the number one spot, like Apple Watch or like a new laptop, since we are all working from home. These are really important tools to have nowadays if you're in like a corporate job. and you've just graduated into a pandemic, which is that's a first.
Oh yeah.
So any tools I think to make our lives easier is great for me. So what do you think about that one?
Oh, I 100% think those things are great. They really, for what we've been through in the last year, can you imagine if we didn't have the technology we have where people can be in their homes or sitting somewhere else other than their office to be able to communicate and get things done? We even here at the store, we weren't open for a couple months and we thought, how do we pivot
Yeah.
to still keep the store going? And so we relied on FaceTime because people still want to celebrate
Wow.
birthdays and anniversaries. So I would walk through the store with people as a personal shopper to, on FaceTime so they could see the merchandise because they couldn't come in the store.
I really love that. It's a super creative idea, and I have not heard one business owner say they've done that. So that's really cool. That's amazing. Yeah, because a lot of people turn to e-commerce, and sadly, a lot of
Yeah.
businesses in my area in New Jersey went out of business. So
Yeah.
that's a great way to keep the business going. So amazing. Check.
Yeah.
This is
Thank you.
Clara approved. The Apple Watch works. And then for my third item, I have luggage. So hopefully, when we're able to
Ooh.
travel again, luggage is a great graduation gift for someone who either just moved to a big new city or place for a job, or they want to go traveling for a little bit. After I graduated from the University of Miami, I was supposed to travel for 6 months. Obviously, that got canceled, and I was supposed to have my birthday in Italy. It's fine, we don't talk about
Oh.
that. But those things got canceled. But once the world is up and running again, and I hope it will very soon, luggage would come into play for a recent graduate. And it's just something to look forward to when we can travel. So I included that as well. And then coupled with that travel idea for my fourth gift, I have an airline gift card because flights are expensive. And I think giving someone, the option to pick whatever destination that they want on an airline is a unique way to help them plan their trip without, doing it for them and making their decisions. What do you think
That's
of
brilliant. I
Really?
love that
Yeah.
one. I would never have thought about doing an airline gift. You can give them money in a check, but making it specific to something that also encourages them to take advantage of, like, not just spending it on something else. They spend it specifically on getting out of Dodge, as they say. Like, go on that trip, take that time to get away and experience new things. I love it. That's great.
Yeah, thank you. It reminded me of my friend who really wanted to come to Milan with us a few years ago, and she was just so scared to get on the plane. So I was thinking, if I was gifting Hannah a gift, it would be, an airline to encourage her to get on the plane. She ended up getting on the plane and we made it to Milan, but it was like a whole story. That was the inspiration behind that gift. So I'm glad that
I love it.
yeah. And then one of the other gifts I have, should be around here. It is a book. It's called The Defining Decade. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's by a clinical psychologist, and it explores the choice paralysis that new graduates can often feel once they go from college into the real world. Because, in college we learn a ton academically, but there are specific things that we don't learn. We don't learn how to manage our finances or our love lives or, these things that are super pivotal. They're pivotal like moments in our lives where we need to kind of learn how to navigate them. So
Yeah.
it's an amazing book that breaks it into sections on how to, it's just great. There's a work section, there's love, there's health, and then I think there's finance as well. So that really helped me get out of that choice paralysis. There was like the analogy that someone used in the book where he said he graduated into like an ocean and he knew he had the potential to go anywhere, but he just didn't know where to swim. He didn't know what direction to swim in. So
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's like how I feel or how I felt postgraduate. I know that a lot of people graduating, especially into the world that it is today, I think that book would be super helpful. So just a gift that is like knowledge that you can't learn in a classroom. So I thought that would be a great gift as
I
well.
think that should be a course in high school.
I agree. I think we should learn how to like do our
Just
taxes.
life, life lessons. Like, think you've been on this track since like nursery school. You go to nursery school, you go to elementary school, you go here, you go there, and all of a sudden it's like whoosh, like you said, you're out in the ocean. Like, how do you navigate that? How do you learn those skills if it's just been kind of a rote academic path? So that sounds interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Honestly, you should really look into that. If you know any recent graduates, that book's awesome.
Yeah.
It just a lot kind of navigate the world in its entirety, because as you said, we've had these, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, you have these checkpoints that everyone is collectively doing together, and then suddenly you're out there and it's, kind of, it's your choices now, and it's all up to you, and no one's guiding you. I mean, obviously, if you have great parents and like people in your life, like I do, you have that. But the book's really awesome, so that was one of mine.
Okay.
And then my 6th one was a spa day or a massage, which you brought up earlier. So we're on the same exact page with that. I think college is super stressful, especially now when you're doing it online. So I think that would be a great gift as well.
Nothing better than a spa day.
And then, of course, number 7, if you are of age, a bottle of bubbly for the girl, and then a cigar for the men. But,
nice.
They're here. If you want a cigar and you're a girl, you can go for it. But
go for it, right?
Something you could have on the graduation day. You can pop your bottle open and celebrate. So that was, a bit of a lower price one that we have, because I think it's great. And I mean, champagne is the graduate drink of choice. And then number 8, you took the words right out of my mouth. It was going to be a nice piece of jewelry. For I don't know. For me, I kind of put jewelry, class ring, handbag, or a nice watch. Anything that's a nice accessory, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
I was super lucky. I got a vintage Gucci bag that my mom hunted down for me here, and I have. Oh, it's so nice. I should have grabbed it, but it's like this glossy black bag with gold detailing. It's really beautiful, and I used it my whole summer internship before back in 2019. So it was a lot. It was gorgeous.
It's classic. Can never go out of style.
I know, those never do. So that was one of them. Oops. And so you like that one, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to bring up my list now. Yeah, so I got the nice bag as well, which I really liked. Another decide, not the top 10, but an idea I had. I don't know if you guys have this in your store. It's one of those scratch-off traveler maps. Do you know what those are?
Oh, we do not, but I have seen those, yes. I actually gave my son-in-law one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think putting that in the suitcase would be really funny, to just be like, okay, once you go, just scratch off the places that you go to. So I liked that one. And then number 9, I'm a huge coffee girl. And also as an adult, I've realized I drink like 3 times the amount of coffee that I do now than back in college, even when I was cramming for my exams. So I put down an espresso machine. I would love like an espresso one, but if you need like a Keurig, they have some nice ones as well. Just for like your new place post-college, and for the exhaustion that you will inevitably experience being an adult.
Absolutely. Welcome to the adult world, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to a gift shop like ours and you buy all your like mugs and your little, serving pieces.
Yeah. So a super cute way to like personalize as well. Are you a coffee drinker?
I'm actually a tea drinker.
More of a tea girl. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you could still use like hot water maker in the espresso machine.
Oh, definitely. And I get the coffee. I get the coffee craze.
Yes. And then anyone that comes over will be so wowed by how nice it is. So that's And then lastly, of course, there's the time capsule. So the company that, is hosting this podcast is Not Forgotten. And I think it's really amazing even talking to you guys today, because you brought up various themes. We all, really care about our family and our friends. And we all, no one answered with what's your favorite gift? Like, oh, this nice jean skirt that I got, or these pairs of shoes. Like, it was very much either like high quality accessories or family items that could be, but a lot of the accessories you said as well were passed down. So I think that's really interesting, our family dynamic that we have embedded in here, and the, urge to preserve memories, even if they're in the form of like items or experiences. I know Peter brought up, advice, just kind of putting that in a whole, and I think a capsule is a perfect place to do that. You just put your advice in, you sit and look at the camera, and you can give advice to your kids, and you can preserve it for 50, 150, or 300 years. So it's a lot of
cool.
Yeah, and we'll totally talk about that after. But that's my top 10 list. Have you thought of anything else that I've missed?
Well, I guess like when we're talking about, we talked a lot about like the college kids. I think it's like a bigger, significant transition. And
Yeah.
I think in a different way, you're really kind of moving into your adult world and jobs and moving out potentially from your home, family home. So for us here, what happens, we do have a couple universities here in town. So that becomes a big thing for us. But then also the high schoolers.
Right.
They're now going off to somewhere potentially out of state, across the country, far away. So that becomes another gifting item where we do personalize a lot of things for them to make it feel like they're memories of home.
Yeah.
So that's something that I do think, those pillows that say Fairfield, it has our longitude, latitude.
Yep.
There's mugs, there's cups, there's all kinds of fun things that we have that we put together so that the kids feel like they've got a piece of home wherever they go from high school to college.
No, I love that, and especially when everyone goes back into their dorms, it's a great gift to put in a little box. I remember when I went to my first school, my mom used to send me little packages when she missed me, and they would have like mugs and just like little candy or snacks for my
Yeah,
dorm, stuff like that. So that's
yeah,
perfect stuck in there. Yeah, like a home box. And my roommate's mom was crazy about it. She used to do everything like super personalized to the T every holiday, Valentine's Day, holidays I didn't even know existed, National like Daughter Day, all of that. So
yeah,
she would send all of those things.
yeah.
I'm sure she would go to a shop like yours to really load up
Yep.
on all of those goods. So that's amazing. And yeah, that's awesome. Is there any advice that you want to give to anyone, either a recent graduate, maybe something that you learned in college, or because as you just said, it's a huge step, moving away from home and embarking on your education and getting through all the way to the end and graduating.
I think they should read the book you suggested to get life, basics of life outside on your own. But I also, back to what Peter was mentioning, where take the time, our lives are moving at such a fast pace. The technology, as we mentioned before, is so key to how we relate in the world today, and it's so beneficial. And yet it can also keep us from being aware of what's going on around us.
Yeah.
So really being in tune with those people that you're working with, whether it be an internship or your first job, the other coworkers, no matter what somebody's age is or where they're from, there are people out there that you can learn a lot from, to his point, that can really mentor you and maybe enlighten you into different paths in your life that are beneficial. So I think my advice is to really take that time to hear what's going on around you and your own self. Be aware of self, of what is going on and where your path is leading, and if it's the right one or not.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to link her store in the bio so you guys can visit it. What's your
Great.
Instagram? You can just tell them they could
The
follow.
Instagram is Vintage Garden CT.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so so much. And
Thank you, and best of luck to all the graduates
yeah,
and to you. And thank you so very much for having me on.
yeah, of course. I'll be calling you afterwards. So thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Hey guys. Okay, so that was amazing. We had two amazing guests today who really said everything that I was hoping for. I mean, my gifts were very on par with what they would love to receive. So that's always good to know you've done the research. But what I want to mention too is that a lot of us have strayed away from material items. We've kind of found the comfort in our friends and our family and their stories. I think Peter and Lara both said that, dialogue and listening to one another and taking that wisdom while you can is the most priceless gift that you can have. Luckily, our time capsules allow us to be able to do that and preserve them from data rot. So, one of the gifts that Lara actually spoke about was the scrapbook that her daughter made her with the handwritten poetry for each picture, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. I wouldn't want anything to ever happen to a scrapbook like that. I know I have a lot of my own as well, which is why our products protect them from data rot. And the analogy I always use is the photograph analogy, because when you have an old photo and it turns brown and the edges curl up, it's still there, but you're not able to experience that photo in the same way, in that crystal clear way that you were when it was first printed. Things age inevitably. Everything takes the test of time, and unfortunately that also happens with our data. It's not just for physical assets that we have. It does happen to our data. So that's why if you've ever clicked a file and it says file corrupt, that means it has unfortunately been impacted with data. It's been infected by data rot. So your data actually starts to fall apart at the year 10 mark. And I think it's really important to note, because some of these gifts are beautiful and we should save them for generations of their family to enjoy. So that's what we have, and that's what we can do. So I'm gonna talk to Lara after, but I'd love to digitize that scrapbook and make sure that no matter what happens over the years, that they'll be able to revisit it. Because when I asked what the best gift she's ever received was, that was her answer. So I think it goes to show that these unique gifts coming from family members are the most important ones, and our time capsules will help you preserve that for so many years, up to 300, which again is 10 generations of your family members to watch. So that's an amazing gift, and we are budget friendly. We're priced at an array of prices, 6 different products, so you're bound to find something that fits your budget and fits your budget for gifting, especially when it comes to a graduate. So I think that's a great gift idea. Although it's number 10, it is number 1 in my heart. So I was gifted the Time Traveler time capsule. So if you guys were interested in that product as well, you can find it on Amazon, or you can find it through Lara's store soon, hopefully, if you're living in Fairfield, Connecticut. I'll link everything down below. But again, this was an amazing podcast. I got really lucky with these guests, super grateful to have them. And I really enjoyed elevating the conversation today with you guys about gift giving, and I hope that next time you'll join me as we go live on Facebook Fridays. Thanks, guys.